What's up, Bradley Johnson here, and I wanted to do a video on Minutia. For those people that want to know what, in fact, I'm going to do two videos. I'm going to do a video on Minutia dieting and Minutia training. And for those people that don't know what the word Minutia means, Minutia refers to things that are small, of trifling detail, and of near irrelevance. That is what Minutia are. Things that are tiny and don't make a big difference in terms of the entire pie. Dieting, let's go with that. Okay, I get a lot of questions about things like sodium and potassium levels, fiber content, complete amino profiles, slow and fast digesting carbs, fat comparisons, omega-3, 6s and 9s, micronutrients balance in terms of vitamins and essential, why does the word escape me at the moment? Minerals, there you go, God. Essential minerals. And I look at all these things and I'm like, yeah, you hitting your macros though every day. Are you hitting your macros? And they're like, well, generally. So you care about sodium levels and your vitamin D content and things, but you're not able to hit the most base, obvious, responsible for every part of metabolism, nutrients that the body deals with on a weekly basis. You're not able to do that, but you care about the body's level of these tiny nutrients that aren't worth worrying about. Yeah, okay. I am going to give you some rules. In fact, before I'm going to give you some rules, I'm going to give you a little story. The story is my story. When I started training, I didn't even know what macronutrients were. I don't know what that was. I never heard of that term before. All I knew was that something said get protein. And to get protein, I knew that I had to drink protein powder, duh, and I knew I had to eat more chicken and steak and stuff and tilapia fish. So I got all that stuff. I couldn't bother to cook all that stuff, so I ended up just cooking chicken. I ate loads of chicken every day. I drank loads of protein powder around when I was training. Who and how much? No idea. Don't know now, don't know then. Could probably work it out, don't care. So I ate loads of protein, got like some slow digesting carbs and stuff, so I heard that was good and stuff. Didn't really focus on fats, and I just kept my protein level high. Now, after doing that for say some amount of time, let's call it 12 weeks, I then realized I should probably pay attention to my sugar content and fat content, and started paying attention to more of that. I did that for about 6 weeks and then found out about these things called macronutrients, and without counting them, I kind of paid a little bit more attention to them since I knew what they were, and kind of made sure that I was getting, you know, fats as a source and decent source, and I was getting carbs as a source, and it didn't really change anything, but at least I knew what was going on. After a while of doing that, I would say about 6 months into my training, it was the first, nah, not 6 months, wasn't that long. 5 months into my training is when I realized that it's probably best that I started counting calories and doing, you know, going according to calories and all that stuff, and I worked out macros and did that for the first time, and all I cared about were the main three: protein, fats and carbs. So I worked out macros according to those. After time doing that for a while, mastering that, got to the point, you know, second nature is easy. The first thing I cared about after that should have been fiber, but wasn't. It was comparative poly and monounsaturated fat levels. After that it was fiber, but fiber didn't really need any attention because I ate so much, my fiber content was good. After that, I've looked at things like omega-3s and 6s. After that, it goes on. Basically, my story that I did by accident is a perfect example of what I will restrict anyone following my advice to do. I will not allow anybody to pay attention to any of this minutia stuff with diet until they have followed macros without flaw for 10 weeks. 10 weeks? Oh, that's so 10 weeks. If you can't follow macros without slipping up for 10 weeks, you have no business paying attention to minutia stuff. And minutia stuff isn't even just things with diet. It's like sometimes it extends into like ethical issues and all that stuff, and like, you know, I think if you're gonna, this is my order. First of all, 10 weeks before you can make a change. So you gotta hit fats and protein minimums and your calorie number every single day for 10 weeks, 70 days, right? Once you've done that, I just did it. I just did a video on it. And I feel like I didn't even start. 10 weeks is not a long time, right? I just did it. It's easy, yeah? I just did it. Do that for 10 weeks. After those 10 weeks, yeah, then you can look at something next. That first thing you should look at, the most important thing after that, I will instruct you with it, fiber. Make sure you get enough fiber. Think of it as the fourth macronutrient. What will probably happen is that your fiber level will have been fine. If it's fine, I'll give you another one you can look at. You can just check them off. You can go down the list of importance, right? After fiber, I'm gonna say, look at your poly and monounsaturated omega-6, 3, 9. Look at your fats spread. Make sure you're getting a nice wide spread, getting some fish oils in there, polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats, some saturated fats. Make sure you're not leaning too heavily towards one source of fat. Make sure you're getting omega-6s, omega-3s and some 9s, and you know, some essential fatty acids, EPA, DHA. Make sure you're getting all of those things. I might do videos on all this stuff another time. After that, once those are all in check, another 10 weeks, yeah, after you've done all that, then you can look at sodium. After that, you can look at vitamins like D3, ABC, etc. All the vitamins and all the minerals. After that, you're running out of things that that matters to. What you'll find in this time is not only are you hitting these numbers anyway, because if you're eating a balanced diet, it's really pretty rare that you're not hitting all these things, but you will start, you know, like your fish oils and things like that, you'll tend to be missing out on those, and depending on your diet, and you know, things like vitamin D3 are difficult to get into the diet, and omega-3s can be same thing. But the point is, I don't want anybody paying attention to this minutia stuff if they haven't got their macros in check, because once you got your macros in check, you can't forget how to do it. You can't forget how to hit macros after you do it for 10 weeks, right? If you can't do it for 10 weeks, you can't diet under my system. Doesn't matter. I don't care how much sodium you intake. Not a big deal. I've done a video on this. It's here if you want to see it. I don't care how much sodium you intake. Not a big deal. If you can't hit your fat number in a day, you ain't making no muscle gains. If you can't hit your protein numbers, you ain't hitting no muscle gains. If you can't stick to your calories, you can't control the shape of your body. You can't. So 10 weeks sounds like a long time. If it sounds like a long time, you're in the wrong game. Things in this happen in 10-week stretches. If you can't take that, then you need to work on your maturity, because that is not a very long time in the great scheme of things on life on this earth. So in terms of minutia, get out of your head all this tiny little things like, where was the fish sourced? And oh, what kind of way was the egg handled when it came from the chicken? And oh, when it was born, what kind of life did it lead? Was it taught kung fu and like maths, or was it just given only a basic primary school education or nursery level? Like, stop focusing on those things. I know it sounds harsh, yeah? We're here to make changes to our body. We're not here to not learn how to control macros at the expense of not learning how to control macros, being able to be some kind of earth mother. I don't care. Dislike the video if you must. Macros are key. If you can't follow them, you can't do this. You can't follow Badge method or anyone else's method, really. You can't diet. You're crippled by it. So forget the minutia stuff. Let's go. I don't mind the minutia stuff as long as you've mastered the macro stuff. Once you master the big things, you can get to the little things, and you can do the little things to your heart's content. If you can't, then you suck at this. BradleyJohnson@gmail.com. If you have any queries or theories or suggestions, anything, let me know. Other than that, like the video, like my Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and of course subscribe. Peace.